Hello. Okay. So the word of the week is dance. The dance floor since the 4th week of the month. We'll be talking about the scenario as well. So there goes dance floor. And I'm explaining the word of the week, and as an introduction for role play into virtual reality, trying to get a deal done that's been partly made, but not really. So at the same time, we're learning to mediate, and eventually, gradually, we will learn to enter into the fantasy realms of virtual reality. First sight, we might dance or watch. So when you go to a disco, or you dance or you don't dance. Yeah, so where would you go? You go because you have nowhere to go, your friends brought you there. What situation brought you to end up where you are there, and everyone is dancing, and you just drink, and maybe you think you get lucky that night. Maybe you went there purposely to get lucky. To be known with your friends from work, to get closer, to team up. Eventually, these people leave the dance floor by one or two. And then is when the magic of the dance floor starts to kick in. Because none of those people went there to dance. So I've been an undercover dancer. I'm being undercover of many scenes. Out of my free will and determination to just report. So my father taught me to do that because he was a journalist, investigational journalist, and behind any political party. So he was asked to be the director of the paper, but he loved his freedom. He was asked for many things, but he loved his freedom. He was an artist as well, most of all a writer and a thinker. I would say, I don't know. I think he was an empath, narcissistic. Traits to be able to laugh at life and with others about our own behaviors. And maybe he was like many people today who are fighting for freedom of expression. That was one of his causes, freedom of expression and freedom of expression for artists, because artists are also ones who are bringing a portal of the actual happenings, changes, and dramatics that makes us think to help make a better world through beauty and through our senses. So in the dance floor, we also express ourselves through our body. It is called physical consciousness or body consciousness. Unfortunately, I am talking with people that are all the time in their head, all the time in their head. And even the pathways of joy and pleasure and are done mechanically without experiencing the joys of the world, the joys of the body, and the many secrets it carries within. The movement of the dance is also for the muse terpsichore. From all the muses are the daughters of men. Is a Greek name that means memory. So memory is information. Through all this information is carried through the muses. This information is correlated. Through the form, we inspire ourselves and expire our last breath and breathe new again. Not many people get to dance till last breath or make love till last breath or bring a speech on their last breath, and is one of the acts that calls for attention is to breathe again and keeps the dance or the making in another platform that is not just concrete in the floor and is a shared field. So dancers who work in the dance floor or in podiums, they know how the energy works. And not every night is the same. You can't control it. You can talk with people who dance for 8 hours, 9 hours every day. It is not the same a dancer that is training to be seen or a dancer that is dancing to dance with others. So there is a lot of imaginary for the self. It's all contained for the structure of the physical movements in the body in a technical way. But they don't have the electricity of the other type of dancers, who might also have the technicality to dance and open up and do all these steps as well and choreography, but they rather dance when everyone is dancing. So these dancers will tell you We don't know why. Sometimes it works, but we cannot push it. We cannot force it to happen to the highest degree, which is natural, of the highest source of joy. And you can practice yourself. It's beyond the mind, beyond the reason or the artistic, beyond the receptor or the giver. It's not about that at all. What happens in the dance floor is that you're not dependent to one person. So all your energy is not focused on one person because you live from that person. It can only be because of that person. So you must open up, right? One of the things we do is to break couples and groups. We have many methods, and I don't know if they still do it. And I'm not going to name the place, but because the energy field is shared with everyone, and that's how it moves through degrees. The same happens in therapy groups. We've been trained to be undercover dancers in Ibiza, Pasha, in the late 80s, early 90s. So I was just hippie rich, and then would just go to dance for fun as a teenager. And then I was just, I guess, you call it hippie rich. Or coming from India, the meditations and celebrating constantly without alcohol or drugs, because for me, it would lower my energy. Coming from where I was coming is no need to even people that will come from Goa to Pune, where 9-hour drive, they would say, oh my God, I have more, I have more relationship here than I ever had in Goa. So the people will say, because you're in the mind taking drugs. You're in the mind, you're not in the body. And what meditation does, the meditations that we used to do, not the ones you find in these gyms, because they are superficial. When you come down to the body, the mind disappears. So you're more in touch with the reality of the other one as well. If you are a place where people are on the form of exercising and dancing and doing meditation, looking at your own things by your own, through role play and interactive stories, we will be able to have that kind of dance for each character. And the technology that will be applied with what I am here to bring for you to translate for the computer engineers, which is why I'm here, to give the other part of the formula. Now, people who might copy it, this is why I will not trust this to anyone, but one person only. And I have to know that this person is delivering it to this other person I already have in mind. It is not Bill Gates, because I sent him half of the formula, and he needs to have his own plan. In order to be honest, sincere, transparent, and trustworthy. So in the reality of real life. So he had a lot of time to come to pick it up and talk about the percentage, the royalty, and how it works. What is the benefits of taking the cookies out? That we have other forms of making money than just marketing with cookies, unless you are on a website where they know what you do. But these cookies to enter in your computer, I guess that's what makes the new iPhone hot. Meta, especially, too much cookies. This has to come clear so we can figure out how to cut the cake. Also in quantum, you don't need so many cookies either. In quantum computers. So there are rules for people to understand that they might be picked to be mediators because they have crossed over a realm of universal understanding through many role plays, that they have transcended their ego. They have enjoyed being in the skin of many characters on other people's shoes. It shows when you start to develop a new technique, because you might still be ambitious, but you can understand then that in order to gain more, you have to let go, because others can manage. So you get more filled by letting others evolve into their own groups and manage their own groups. So it is a form of an alliance. An ally is as important as a member of your group, but people don't understand this. I have noted the difference when people start to change, but most of the people are very groupy. And you can make analytics on that, how a big percentage of people are groupies. They're still on an animalistic behavior in order to protect themselves, in order to belong, in order to attack others so they are stronger together. And sometimes you might feel involved with a group because somebody of another group attacking you and you don't have time to explain yourself. The more you move in cities where they are international as well, it's very common to see that sometimes, and that should be illegal. It should be illegal on international cities, that the same race only hires the same race. It should be illegal. It should be managed. But they're teaching algorithms to not hire people because they are not young and they can pay them less. That happened in McDonald's. The algorithm, the chat box, that now you get an interview by a chat box. So people don't have the time to be suing all these companies, but there is so much going on. that there is no government, no law system that can understand what's going on. So if to exploit people who are working, or to close your mind to know integrate with a society that, for example, used to be European and Christian. So I had a lot of problems at work. Jamaicans would gather together to attack others who were not Black at work, insulting the Europeans as well, with a lot of hatred. In this office as well, there is an underneath resentment and even if they know the laws, yeah, so whatever, if they're Romanians, they all gather together. So what is the purpose of understanding that one has to take care and distance, but at the same time, one has to be aware of the dangers in the future from allowing these people to do this because they're not only taking people's places and houses and stealing from them everything, they have that setting to do that, and taking territory as well. So that's not a state of dancing, celebrating a scenario, a dance floor at all. So you cannot share because they are attacking you constantly. I made myself to move in this neighborhood purposely in order to report and safeguard and help as I could, at least 2 eyes looking, not only to save lives from any terrorist group that might be grooming in the city of that precise neighborhood, because that's where they come, the newly immigrants. Because once they're settled here, they have to be very resented, very young. So we have fought so much for freedom, as Jesus did. And now we have this. All these Muslims in Christian fields. The ladies cannot dress pretty. They were telling me in the subway, yes, we cannot dress like with dresses of flowers because they look at us down. And they were generation sets. They were 18-year-old girls with jeans, and long t-shirts on a weekend in London. And this is happening in all the main cities in Europe and now some of America and Canada. So they are coming with the set already. They must be deported even if they were born here for a fourth generation. So we can depure and regain a celebrated state that we used to have, that was more jolly, sharing, and open, welcoming. So it is normal that people need to retrieve and never come out unless you have your family or your things to do at work, for work. I'm not saying that every Muslim has bad intentions, but if something bad happens, they all are happy. And they all share of looking down. So men don't know that, but every man should ask the ladies or women, how do they feel with all these Muslim people looking at them down, men and women? So they are not part of a dance floor, energetically speaking. And some cultures too are slow to feel receptive, to understand the free world. And for that, we must recover our receptors who might have been wounded from so much fights. So we can see what is the state of war or the dance floor. It seems so far away that sometimes I have imagined that in the future people would not dance. They would not know what is dancing. It would be really like as in the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Star-Lord is dancing with some Walkman and he looks like an idiot because they don't know what is that. It cuts also a level of transmission and intelligence. And there are other ways of making money as well than being selfish and just trying to call the attention for one's image. Those are called manipulative, selfish, unimportant matters that nobody needs. It's just a very low level of energy that does not allow the work to move. for all others that are striving to make a better life out of them and create more territories of positiveness, sharing, and interaction. This cannot happen if you put somebody who wants all the attention of everyone for themselves and is always thinking of its image, is always projecting, thinking of its image, its image, its image. So all this energy is just going for that. Anyone can have that image. You can have a person that can be a ruler, a person that can be a leader, an organizer. You can have the love of everyone, but you don't need a person that is just sucking the energy for that, because that's the only thing that it does, because it doesn't know any better. That person was not put there because it gained any surrendering, or it had any sense of justice, or it was there because of admiring the work of everyone, or because it was raised for that. So the insecurity of this person is such that it is only because it doesn't know anything else. So this is an imaginary, it's like a suck of energy. In therapy groups, they call it a black hole, because it's just sucking the energy of all the group. And all the energy that is trying to mount. It could have been assembled already, long time ago. It does not need to have, like, people can keep talking about whatever they want, but when it comes to see the work or what it needs to be done and generated, that we can see with our own eyes, that is rolling. So it's like walking up the hill with stones in your pocket. Once you realize you have stones in your pocket, you move them away, because you don't need to be dragging with the stones. They're too heavy. They make you tired. You're not going where you want to. You don't need that. Nobody needs that. Anyone can create an image and make believe because of the image, 1,000 million images and many plays and characters on through 19 years, and give them away because you can only take care and maintain a few, but still you like to make more and discover more and create more, live through these characters, these images. It's for yourself as well. But still, there is something that needs to be adjusted. We will be able to see that thanks to the degree of players that are not studying other people, but are diving, immersing themselves. And it's nothing to be analyzed either from their place, only to see the degrees of people's intelligence. They will note that. But people are so busy creating their own revenue, their own money, their own needs, their own ego. So to feel that in the board of the game, of the play, you will notice how beautiful it is to see the woman love you. At the same time, because they love you, they don't want to control you. At the same time, that man love you, but they won't hurt you. It just comes down to that you can be as creative and beautiful and have friendliness, which is the highest form of love. That's unconditional. So you can dance like children again in the Garden of Eden. Otherwise, it's impossible to get to that level. And dancers used to say that. Dancers that came from all over the world, in Ibiza, Russia. I say, well, at least we make it 2-3 times a week. We get to that state of dancing and children in the Garden of Eden. It is magical. It's like God is reigning with his blessings. And you do share that connotation. And it feels safe. You could never reach that state of dancing with a suck of energy that's just for the image, because it's never knew itself. So how can you go beyond yourself if you've never known yourself? So it might seem quite complex, but it's not. That is where you kind of feel guilty to be so happy if others are not. You wish to share that. I am in love with my work. I'm in love with the work that is happening. I am a player. I might say things that purposely might mean something or not to you or the other. And certainly we will all think, is this the leader that I want for me, or is it worth the fight? Yeah, because is this correct for me to, because so there are some people in this world that can say, okay, sorry, exacerbated. There are some people that you can't change, like the Muslim. I have been with them. Or some people from Africa, they need many generations. You cannot contemplate the idea to have a monologue, not even a conversation of 2 or 3-dimensional, because they're never going to get it in this lifetime. And you might never gonna get it, because you have many people fighting for votes with humanitarian and fighting against. But they should go live in Muslim neighborhoods if they're so humanitarian as I did. Yeah? And clean the streets to teach them how to keep it. Even the poorest people in South America are clean. By law. You want to be humanitarian? Go. You have to go by law and live in this neighborhood. Start being humanitarian then. Because if you want to get the votes by torturing people to live with this, because they steal everything from you, they attack you at work, they make everything dirty they have. Only hatred to teach to their children in this country, in this continent. Why would you want that? Why would you want that? Bring people from South America then if you need workers. The Muslim world is very beautiful with themselves, but they will never do the things they do here as they do for their own people. So they can learn on their own page when they are ready to take responsibility. Yeah. You cannot have interviews with these people because they are never going to change. I have worked with these people for many years. And if you think that you have some Muslim culture here to make friends with the Muslim world, forget it. They want to take over through the next 300 years and 500. And they have a fixed Satan idea and psychosis. They all share alone with themselves. And if they pregnant your daughter, it's because they want to make her Muslim. But every petty crime should be noted as well. The people can report immediately. Any form. They have just destroyed my computer. This one. They just destroyed this computer. They stolen books. They moved everything from around here. And the receptionists are from African background. So they comply because they have hatred underneath. So another territory being taken from the Christian world here. It doesn't matter. They want my desk. And they are not getting the recording. So every step of the way is like this. Everywhere you go, anywhere you go. They want to take land from Kashmir in India. They want to take land in other places in Europe. They're killing Christians in this other country. There is no dance floor. There is no communion. So I'm studying to become a citizenship of the United Kingdom, but I don't feel it's really working for me, or unless I become more and more isolated as I have been living. I used to have friends. I used to have ambition to go with my friends, get them things, to be creative, to do things with them. So all this is been cut away. It's not a beautiful place to be as a dance floor would be. Our children are beautiful and they will always learn to be from what they see around them. And on the other side, it's important for us to join the dance and integrate with others, but it cannot be just one person alone. It's impossible. You're never going to have a good conversation because the hatred is such. I have learned from what I have not learned with therapists, the therapy for normal people. Okay, so I'm talking about severe mental illness from a collective. The Jews, the Orthodox Jews, are very racist as well culturally. They just look at Christians because we share a Bible with them, but that's it. They only love their own culture as well. The other people are dirty. So they also do not have a universal understanding. Of course, we do need limits and boundaries. But here it is to see and target who is on a level of management and who is on a level of universal understanding, which is different. Yeah. So it's not a joke or a prank. It's very hard critic. One should be able to discriminate where are we going, and if we came here to be alive, to be judging all the time because we cannot dance. We cannot dance if we're judging all the time. But at least remember that we had a moment in life where there was love there. And we felt safe to dance. We felt in a state of welcomeness. So what is the point then? If you want to bring a world together, what is the point of listening to me? What is the point of knowing that people will also have the chance to have dance floor, that they will have their basic needs, to take care of their environment, because that's the environment that we create with one another. You're the only one. Of course you can change them. Well, I have done that, but it takes more. It takes more. Of course, if I have money, I will rent all the tables and get the evidence to get them out. But that's what happens. More and more, the more years, I don't even feel like coming to this office, so I come in the night. And like this is everything you do. We're attacking others to take over. But one has to be a little bit wise and see this group of energy is being created for supporting in commune. So what is freedom of expression? And there will be the highs and lows. Role play is not just, you will have settings where some role players will have confrontation and some not. Yeah, so the ones who don't have confrontation are useless. They're just like for decoration. They're very good for certain things, but that they are the first of being envious against those within the group. So players that are warriors or confrontational are more aware of the needs of the group because they know that you need all the group to confront the outside. Yeah? But if you are not a person who is in your, who knows what is a sense of property, what is a sense of territory from many generations, you need that from many lives. It's not just like that. Yeah? You will start attacking people near you because it's easier to be gossiping in the back. You're afraid of matters that have nothing to do than if you have strong stamina to stand with the group because you know the cause and effect that is before you. So you're not going to call for more problems. The group will support that one. Move along. Or you're going to have a group that is fighting with itself and diminishing. That's dangerous. It's not a joke to make people laugh. Instead of putting the energy there. So it rains more. So that person can catch it. To make it function. Not next year. Next is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Nor next year, nor the other or the other. It might happen in other ways because there is a need for that. But you cannot dissipate all that energy like that, just talking in a nebula that does not conform itself towards that point to get that. When it's only that person to get it. But now it's been distracted there with all this drain of energy. So just can you not just support this person? Why are you dragging with your energy? It has nothing to do with me or the other or what people think, really. Do you think they care, really? They don't care. They really could care less. But they do care for that to happen. Because it will fit them and others as well. So instead of being a beautiful decoration, you're obstructing the way with that emotional drama that's heavy. And I don't need to see you. I need the work to be seen. And everyone needs that work to be seen. Not just projected, but to be manifested and generated. And that's the peak of the agreement. Yeah. So it's starting to show off already, preparing that arena, warming it up to let it be known. Instead of looking back. For what? For what? What's that? There's no need to. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to be looked down. No, people need to be looking at what. turn you on. That's why you're in love with your work, right? With the dancing. It's contagious, dancing. It's not a movie. It's dance action. You can go to any disco, you will never find that formula that puts people on. Not even the ones who are working every day in the dance floor know it. Can't be forced. Yeah? So the moment that you are not afraid of letting go is because you already know yourself. Maybe you need many other lives to meditate. Yeah? You need many lives. And once again, it's not a meditation in the gym. To know the self. It's not to be the little one. And in the pages of history, nothing will be known of you. Nothing. So why bother? Whom you think you are is not whom you are. You are what you make believe, but you don't know who you are. That's the problem. That's why you are obstructing, because you need people to see you. But you're not bringing anything to the table. You're just blocking that person that has to go there. And let him enjoy his life. Let him meet people. Let him. He's going to enjoy it anyways. Let him be himself. He's been tortured by you. And people like you. And he doesn't need to be vibrating on that level because of you. As much talent there is, there are better stories to be told and to celebrate. And that was the meaning of my story, to say thank you, because I have discovered myself and enjoyed myself without hurting anyone. Yeah? Without the needs. So it's good to create impact and scandal. Another thing is for what? There is an edge to it. So you really love, you would support that person beyond yourself and enjoy yourself as well. Because you can't enjoy yourself if you don't know yourself. A person that knows itself can enjoy life anywhere, anyhow. What is borderline personality of harassing emotionally that another person cannot do its work? Wow. It's very serious. You can keep enjoying your life, but nobody is against it. It is you against it. And this goes for everyone at the same time. You will notice who is a good manager, who is a good leader and head of a body, who has meta consciousness, and who has universal love, understanding, and is in a state of, it's not just mirroring, but you could be in many places at the same time without needing to text too much or use the internet so much. Because you already know here. Yeah. So all this is in the game board of the dance floor. Nothing happens in the private, in the secret, in the plotting. It can only happen in the daylight. Some characters belong to the air. They don't have a scenario of themselves, but they do work for Olympus, like the god of the news, Hermes, of the communications. It does not have a setting like a country or a scenario. It's in the air, like Ganesh in India. They're openers of portals. So Hermes as well is a symbol of transferring sexually to go to other realms through sexuality. As to the underworld, he carries the death as well, as your psychic could travel on a trip. You can call it however you want, imagination, for those who take drugs, an LSD trip. And it's beautiful to be aware of this naturally, knowing that you have an important role as well to show others. It's the cleaning lady. So, avoid that. Because we are all waiting for that. It is not just about talking, but allow the body to move. In that quantum jump. So we start to see this new system emerging where it will be easier for those who love money to have more, and for those who love to enhance consciousness to be broadcast with beings that are sharing this form of intelligence that through our interaction. It should be dancingly, of course. At least for some hours a day. To let others be. Is to let yourself be. So one has to be very careful of people who are taking roles that could be dangerous for the world on that sense. Not everyone here is for spiritual path of enlightenment. So one has to also accept that is part of the kingdom of God. Yeah. As much talent there is and refinement, one must keep focus for that to happen. because we cannot allow the stuck energy to be just talking. It's not about replacing people, even though there's always new generations, new people coming in, and people leaving. We also must give that space to take care of that space. But at the same time, not have the notion, but be aware that sense of property is not because of you. So say thank you. Thank you that you can be a part of forming this bridge of understanding to allow it to happen as well. Yeah? The fear of death is the mother of all fears. One of the main things we learn in meditation in India is the fear of death, the fear of letting go, the ego. It is good to have an ego as a mobile, but we are not that, right? You've been playing against others. I am not against you. This is very different, okay? So when you're relating with people that are all day long accusing another person, they will all think that if you don't belong to the accusers, you might accuse them because they only think about accusing. So they only think they can be accused. So, okay, that's whom you are. To please not poison this state of mind because it is needed to create something that is greater than us. So you might probably never change. You have these good qualities. Learn to become a spectator, to enjoy the work. That is the beauty that we can celebrate. Unfortunately, people love to see stars falling down, celebrities. We also need to look up at heroes so we can reflect with our inner authority and to reflect the many will buy a story that's actually a big lie. Sadly. So one of the things that to know the truth, you have to have a lot of compassion because that's the only way you can let it go. Otherwise, you cannot know the truth. You cannot know the truth because you will linger with it. You will attach to it. You will become a burden. You could never have compassion. And compassion is a transformative tool that at the same time has patience and understanding of letting go because it knows the timing of that process and what it takes to grow up and mature. A simple investment that is to see how many people are required and where we can move and where not. Yeah. So, okay, now it's fashion, the war with Israel, and it can take 20 years just feeding that story. Some stories lead nowhere. You want to, of course, it's in the media. What can we do? It was horrible. You, even the punkies were better when the times of the heavy metal. Okay. At least they would kill themselves, but they wouldn't kill others. The Christian world knows how to celebrate itself and take care of itself, but is just distracted by the flashlights of internet, the flashlights, like for example, Taylor Swift. She's making all this money in concert or a movie, but never be remembered in the future because her music is talentless. It's not music that it will be remembered, that will be memorable, immortalized in 500 years. You remember what? Thanks to a few people, in 500 years, 1,000 years, 3,000 years, they will remember one person, but it's been the work of many. They might remember 3 guys, mainly, but it's been the work of many. We do need mediators who have a level of universal understanding. This is not about business and making money or being a better narcissist, because this world has a multiverse dynamic, okay? So hopefully the Russians join us, and in a few years they have paid all their destruction. They also have to return everything that belongs to the royal family of the Tsars in Russia that's been stolen. So we do not remember that far. We remember further. Okay? And that's what happens in France as well. They're having a repetitive trauma from the revolution. They are in a constant revolution. It's a karma that repeats because has betrayed its own head. The body has not brought to the head its understanding. The body is moving in accordance of the head. If the head is not, the body has to do something. How is it possible that the head is not going to listen to its own body? No, this cannot happen. Then the body is in a constant revolution, trying to put its head back, but it can't do it. Can't do it. So democracy, it is okay, but without a head, a family head that can clear away its problems, and the people can celebrate. The function. Communism doesn't exist in Russia. It has never existed as it was written. But there is still a lot of work to be done. So we need to just see by people reporting it by themselves. I believe the tech titans are uniting, yet it needs to be difference where difference of opinion. But we cannot be living in a state of war because of those opinions. So that's when you need to do an intervention, because it will never stop the war. So is you return back to where you belong, because you cannot stay here in a state of war. You bring in the problems of your past, so why are you coming here? If you care so much about those people, you go with those people and help them there. If you are a humanitarian, we works for mansions into villages. We have works that could never happen with an environment like this. It doesn't matter who is the president or the prime minister. It should always be taught with respect. Because now we are starting to develop with multimedia. We must support our leaders. Even if we have a problem, to address it with respect. We cannot be blaming the prime minister because Hamas is doing these things or teaching these things to kids. And it's not because of the person that has a position, but because we need that person to perform for us. So we need to be diligent as well. Why people would love to see that what is possible they could do, they will dive into it as well. So to be talking just to be criticized, because that's what people do, just speaking online, just to create more content, to be relevant, it's not the only way to survive or to be. And if it is not my choice. So it is beautiful to have a beautiful image. It is beautiful to celebrate one's image. It is beautiful to be loved by many people. It is beautiful to bring meaning and be a symbol of prosperity of the highest source for everyone, to have the generosity for others to mirror that they can also reach there. Yeah. So that is healthy to celebrate people's designs. That one day we can see this world with people's notification there for what they need. Plain and simple. Be able to travel for the best of worlds. So it takes a good heart to transform into a green energy and pass the message. Because Christians used to pass the word, pass the message. But that was a message of love. So green energy is not as easy as it seems. They're also destroying the earth to get these batteries. So it needs to be reported. Just cut the earth straight, don't make holes in the earth. But if you say it, then they want to hate you. Because in one is doing electric current and the other is throwing methane in with all the rockets. So who is there to report this? Why are people spending so much energy on things that are not even giving you the grace from multiple places to applaud? Because we want to bring more to the table, to celebrate one another, because it's part of the work. Then yes, big hug for everyone. Then yes, bye.